Formula 1 has just finished testing at Barcelona, with both Red Bull and Mercedes looking the fastest teams ahead of the 2021 season. So with that, let's update you on all the changes ahead of the upcoming Australian Grand Prix. Mercedes go into 2021 hoping to gain a 7th straight Constructors and Drivers' Championship, albeit with a sponsor overhaul. Out go Petronas to be replaced by Allianz, along with Adidas, Best Winston & Co. in sponsoring the team. Also outgoing is Valtteri Bottas, who performed poorly at the end of 2020. In comes George Russell, who impressed at the Sakhir Grand Prix for Mercedes, and replaces Bottas in an all-British lineup alongside Lewis Hamilton. Performance-wise, Mercedes go into 2021 with the fastest engine still, but have lost a little bit of performance to Red Bull in terms of their aero department. Ferrari arrive into 2021 having one of their worst seasons in F1 since the 1980s. And 2021 doesn't look too much better to the Scuderia, as the regulations haven't changed at all. In having fixed the rear end, their engine lacks performance, and they've also lost out in the aero development race compared to the other midfield teams like McLaren and Aston Martin. Sebastian Vettel has been known for a while that he would be departing the team at the end of 2020, and in replacing him comes Carlos Sainz to partner Charles Leclerc in his 3rd season with the team. Red Bull, meanwhile, have been Mercedes' closest challengers in 2020, albeit a fair way back, look to close the gap up to the German team. However, one problem that Red Bull have had to put up with over the winter break is the withdrawal of Honda from Formula 1. None of the other engine suppliers were willing to supply Red Bull or AlphaTauri with an engine, left Red Bull with a bit of a dilemma. Fortunately, the FIA have been working on a solution since the last time Red Bull was without an engine, and subsequently tasked the independent Cosworth to build a V6 in case of this happened. And so with a Cosworth powered engine, Red Bull then went about to try and attract some more sponsors, and in comes Volkswagen to replace the outgoing Aston Martin. The German manufacturer potentially be set up to provide a new engine for the new regulations in 2026. In terms of their drivers, they retain Max Verstappen now, who seems to be more on board now Volkswagen have joined, and alongside Verstappen will be Nico Hülkenberg, with Volkswagen looking for a German driver to join Verstappen on the grid. Albon has been demoted to AlphaTauri. McLaren, now with a Mercedes engine, look to close the gap to the top 2 teams in terms of performance. Like their engine supplier, McLaren have had a major sponsorship overhaul. Unilever have increased their sponsorship from a small little pixel on the car to now having a visible brand on the car. And it's joined by Viacom CBS and both company subsidiaries in sponsoring the car. The team have retained Lando Norris after impressing over the past 2 seasons, including a podium at the opening Austrian Grand Prix in 2020. And Daniel Ricciardo jumped ships from Renault. Despite gaining a number of podiums, Ricciardo believes that McLaren now is the way forwards for him in terms of his latter stage of his career mode. With the loss of Ricciardo, Renault attempted not to lose the progress that was made in 2020, having gone from being nowhere near the podium to actually scoring 3 of them in one season. The team have had a rebrand as Alpine, although the Renault branding is still shown clearly on the car, and the team's owner's name still remains Renault. Alpine, by the way, is the 5th different name for the teams that first entered the sport back in 1981, and they go into 2021 without Ricciardo, as they have managed to persuade Fernando Alonso to rejoin the team. Alonso was looking to rejoin F1 anyway, after failing to win the Indy 500 on multiple occasions, and he'll be alongside Esteban Ocon, who got his first podium in 2020 and will be looking to continue the progress that Renault have made in fighting for more podiums throughout 2021. AlphaTauri came very close over the winter and not being even on the grid in 2021. The seniors team Red Bull only managed to secure a Cosworth engine, and even then Red Bull threatened to pull out of the sport if they were not competitive. Furthermore, they have lost out on the signing of Yuki Tsunoda, so instead have managed to put up a line of former Red Bull rejects Alex Albon and Danny Kvyat. But AlphaTauri definitely have a problem. Half of their engineers have been promoted to Red Bull, which means that the other half have been left worrying about if the team is going to be on the grid over the winter. Subsequently, AlphaTauri have gone backwards in performance, may not be challenging for those top 10 finishes that they had throughout 2020. Racing Point completed their transformation to Aston Martin over the winter period, having shown their intentions to become a front-running team by signing 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel to partner Lance Stroll. Especially the fact that the team won one race in 2020 with Sergio Perez, who departs the team after several years. The team were close to McLaren in performance, but now have the added addition that McLaren have the same engine, so the competition will be a lot more difficult for them. In terms of sponsors, BWT have been booted out because after an agreement couldn't be reached due to the colours of the car. But they have been able to attract AT&T and Air Canada to sponsor the car, albeit in minor positions. Overall, though, with the financial success of Lawrence Stroll, they should not be worried about the finances. Alfa Romeo come into 2021 having completely changed their lineup, with Raikkonen giving IndyCar a go for 2021, and Giovinazzi, after the high performance of many Ferrari junior drivers in Formula 2, having been let go by the Scuderia. Instead, the team bring in an all-rookie lineup in the form of Mick Schumacher and Callum Ilott. Alfa Romeo have now bought a 40% stake in their team to show their commitment to sport, which means that the Alfa Romeo name will remain in Formula 1 for at least another 5 years. But the car's performance hasn't improved over the winter, so they're still looking to be at the back, and points look once again scarce in 2021. Meanwhile, Gene Haas over the winter decided to sell his F1 team to Ford. But the problem for Ford is that the moment that the takeover was approved, Ford's board of directors were reshuffled, and the new board weren't in favour of running an F1 team, so they thought that the costs were too high. Given how close to the start of the season this takeover was, the FIA ruled that Ford would have to run in 2021, although Gene Haas has said he would be interested in buying back part of the team if Ford were ready to sell. But, as he has said, he is only insists that he would buy back part of the team if the other half would be bought by a manufacturer to support the performance of the car, instead of buying parts off Ferrari, which hasn't worked for the American outfit in the past. But they do have a promising lineup, however. Sergio Perez jumped ship from Racing Point / Aston Martin, and have managed to poach Yuki Tsunoda from the hands of Red Bull, who brings in with his new Canon sponsorship. But the Ford board, in an effort to save costs, however, made the decision that the team would no longer be running with the Ferrari engine and instead would use a Cosworth engine. Williams round off the 2021 grid with a brand new lineup. They pinched Pierre Gasly from the Red Bull program after Red Bull refused to confirm Gasly would be able to be promoted back to the senior team after winning a race in 2020. Gasly decided to leave the Red Bull program, and Williams seems to be a good fit for both Gasly and the British outfit. Alongside Gasly is Formula E runner-up Peter Harmsen. Darton Capital have managed to secure a major sponsor in the form of Lufthansa, who have bought a 5% stake in the team. Darton have also announced they've got big plans for Williams, including bringing in a manufacturer to partner them, which has already been rumoured to be BMW, although talks with the German manufacturer have yet to get off the ground. With the departure of Russell, Williams have also announced they'll be using a Cosworth engine for 2021, but have made a big step forwards in terms of aero and chassis performance, and thus are no longer the slowest team on the grid. There are also big changes for FOM going into 2021. Liberty Media, having made huge losses, had decided to sell 55% of FOM. This gave the FIA an opportunity to restructure FOM and giving 10% of the ownership of FOM to each of the teams, an even split. The other 45% been sold to Heineken. Pirelli have also brought in their new range of tyres, which have worse tyre there than what they had in 2020, so expect to see 2 to 3 stop races throughout 2021. The new FOM has also decided to change the point system to make it more competitive. The top 8 scoring points now in a 12, 9, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 format, which was originally proposed back in 2009 but was never actually used. The additional point has also been added for fastest lap. The FOM also announced that the new regulations have been delayed a further year until 2023. And so the calendar was revealed. 16 races were added for 2021, with a view to holding a maximum of 18 in future seasons. This was after consulting all the teams and decided that the triple headers were wildly unpopular, and spacing it out was allow teams to not have to rush with the logistical sides of the Grand Prix event. Australia remains as the season opener, with Bahrain as opening round 2, with Monaco, Italy, Austria and Hungary composing the early rounds of the European rounds. No room for Spain, although Spain is using the time to have some of parts of its track resurfaced and reprofiled. Canada is next, along with the Netherlands, Belgium and Britain, with no room for either for legendary circuits France or any circuit in Germany being able to host a Grand Prix. Then we go to Azerbaijan, followed by Singapore and Japan. China was also rumoured to be hosting a Grand Prix as well, although it was decided that trying to fit it on the calendar is not going to suit the rest of the order, with USA, Mexico and Brazil rounding off a 16-race calendar. And there we go, that is the roundup from pre-season, ahead of next week's Australian Grand Prix. Join us again. Until then, I'll see you next time. Take care and goodbye.